You're standing in a schoolyard. Your shoes crunch on something that looks like frost, except it's July and the sun is scorching. The white powder covers everything, the swings, the slides, the rusted monkey bars where children played yesterday. You can hear breathing behind you, shallow, rapid, panicked. Someone's mother is searching through the bodies, lifting small hands one by one, checking faces that are turning blue. The smell hits you then, sweet chemical, like almonds mixed with something burning, something wrong. 30 minutes ago, this was a playground. 30 minutes ago, there was laughter here. Now there's only silence and the sound of that mother's footsteps, and the question burning in your mind, who would do this to children? Drop a comment from wherever you are. I'm genuinely curious if this story reaches beyond borders. Because what happened here changed 3 countries forever. The year is 1988. The place is northern Iraq, tucked into mountains that have sheltered people for thousands of years. The town's name doesn't matter yet. Knowing it too soon would rob you of understanding how this could happen anywhere, to anyone. This is Kurdish territory. Villages scattered across peaks and valleys where families have lived since before empires learned to write their names. Goats wander dirt roads. Women bake bread in clay ovens. Children chase each other between stone houses that have stood for generations. But there's something else here too. Something invisible threading through these mountains like a snake. A secret that started small, in a laboratory far from here. Where scientists asked themselves, what's the most efficient way to erase a population? Before dawn, someone would make a choice that doomed thousands. A letter written in code would surface 30 years later and change everything historians thought they knew. And the last person standing would be the one nobody expected, the central mystery that drives everything. How does a government decide that an entire people should simply cease to exist? Not through war, not through exile, through science. Through something so horrific that international law would have to invent new words just to prosecute it. Every fact we're about to uncover has a human face attached to it. Every statistic was someone's daughter, someone's son. And what happened next broke every rule they thought protected them. The rules written after the Holocaust, the conventions signed in Geneva, the promises that said, never again, but promises only matter when someone's willing to keep them. The village is called Halabia, population 70,000. It's March 16, 1988. And for 2 years, this region has been a battlefield between Iran and Iraq. The Iran-Iraq war has turned these mountains into a meat grinder. And Halabia sits directly on the border, caught between 2 armies that both claim to be liberators. 3 days ago, Iranian forces captured the town. The Kurdish residents are cautiously optimistic anyone's better than Saddam Hussein's regime, which has been systematically destroying Kurdish villages for months. The Iraqi government calls it the ANFAL campaign. The Kurds call it what it is, genocide in slow motion. Ahmed Hassan is 17. He lives with his mother, his sister Nesreen, and his 2 younger brothers in a house on the eastern edge of town. His father disappeared 6 months ago, arrested at a checkpoint, never seen again. This morning, Ahmed is helping his mother prepare breakfast. At 11 a.m., Iraqi fighter jets appear over the horizon. Ahmed sees them first, silver points against blue sky. His initial thought is relief. Maybe the Iraqi army is targeting Iranian positions. Maybe the occupation will end. Maybe things will return to normal. He doesn't know about the special munitions loaded beneath those wings. He doesn't know about the laboratory outside Baghdad, where scientists have been refining chemical weapons for 5 years, testing them on Kurdish prisoners to perfect the formula. He doesn't know that his government has looked at maps of Halabia and made a calculation. If we can't control this town, we'll make sure no one can ever live here again. The first bombs fall at 11:15 a.m., but they don't explode like normal bombs. They crack open, releasing clouds of white, yellow, and green gas that drift through streets like fog, heavier than air, sinking into basements and bunkers where families huddle. Ahmed's first instinct is right. Get underground. The family runs to their basement. Nesreen grabs her youngest brother. Ahmed's mother grabs bread and water. They think they're doing what survivors do, taking shelter, waiting for the bombing to stop, but the gas is coming. It's pouring through the cracks around the door, seeping through ventilation grates, finding them in the dark. And when Ahmed smells almonds, sweet and thick, he still doesn't understand what it means. Here's what makes this unbearable. The technology killing them was sold to Iraq by Western companies. The same nations that condemned chemical weapons after World War I, that prosecuted Nazi Germany for atrocities, had been quietly supplying Saddam Hussein's regime with the ingredients and expertise to manufacture these agents. Dutch companies sold the precursor chemicals. German firms provided the laboratory equipment. British companies supplied the testing facilities. American corporations sold the helicopters used to spray the gas. They all knew. The invoices are public record now. The international community watched Iraq use chemical weapons against Iran for 2 years and said nothing, because Iran was the enemy, because Saddam was useful, because oil politics mattered more than Kurdish lives. Ahmed's younger brother starts vomiting in the basement. Then Nazreen begins to cough, a wet, choking sound that doesn't stop. Ahmed's eyes are burning, streaming tears. His mother is whispering prayers, but her voice is getting weaker, raspier, like her throat is closing. The gas is a mixture, sarintabin, and mustard gas. Nerve agents that attack the body's ability to function. You lose control of your muscles. You can't breathe, you suffocate while your lungs still work. And mustard gas burns blistering skin, destroying tissue. Ahmed makes a choice. He's going to get help. He's going to run through the streets to find a doctor, find anyone who knows what to do. His mother grabs his arm, tries to stop him, but he pulls free. When he opens the door, he sees hell. The streets are filled with bodies, not wounded people, bodies. Some are still moving, twitching, gasping like fish on dry land. Others are completely still. A little girl in a red dress is collapsed against a wall, her mouth open, eyes staring at nothing. The white powder covers everything. It's crystallized gas, coating surfaces, making the whole town look like it's been dusted with snow. Ahmed takes 3 steps and starts to feel it, his legs weakening, his vision blurring, his chest tightening. He turns back toward his house. He doesn't make it. He collapses 10 feet from his own door, close enough to hear his family inside, too far to reach them. Stop. Think about what's happening right now, in this moment. It's 11:47 a.m. in Halabja. The attack has been going on for 32 minutes. The fighter jets have made 6 passes, dropping 30 chemical bombs. The gas has covered approximately 60% of the town. 5,000 people are already dead. Another 5,000 are in the process of dying, some quickly, some agonizingly slowly. The ones who will survive will carry the scars for the rest of their lives. Blindness, respiratory failure, cancers that will appear decades later. And the world is not watching. There are no cameras here, no journalists, no international observers. This is happening in silence, in a town most people couldn't find on a map. Taimour Abdullah is a photographer. He's Kurdish from a village 20 miles away, but he's been documenting the NFL campaign for months, sending images to international news agencies that rarely publish them. When he hears about the attack on Halabja, he drives there immediately. He arrives 2 hours after the bombing stopped. What he sees through his camera lens will haunt him for 36 years. He's still alive today, still showing people these photographs, still trying to make them understand. In one image, a man is lying in a street, frozen in the act of trying to protect a baby. Both are dead. The man's hand is over the infant's face, trying to shield the child from the gas. It didn't work. The baby's skin is already blistering. In another photograph, there's a mother in a doorway. She was running out of her house, carrying 2 children. She made it 3 steps. All 3 died together, their bodies tangled, the mother's face pressed against her son's hair. Taimour takes 17 photographs that day, 17 images that will eventually force the world to admit what happened, but it will take years. The attack occurs in March 1988. The photographs don't appear in major Western newspapers until August, 5 months later. By then, the NFL campaign will be over. 182,000 Kurds will be dead. Halabja will be the single deadliest chemical attack against civilians in human history, and it will have happened with weapons sold by countries that claim to value human rights. A survivor named Nasreen, not Ahmed's sister, a different Nasreen, was 16 when the attack happened. She was in her school's basement with 20 other girls. The gas found them. She watched her classmates die. One by one, their convulsions slowing, their breathing stopping. She survived because she was near a crack in the wall where air was flowing in, diluting the concentration of gas just enough. She breathed through her sleeve, pressed against that crack, for 4 hours. When she finally emerged, she was the only one alive. Her testimony, given years later to human rights investigators, is 30 pages long. She describes the smell almonds mixed with garlic. She describes the feeling like drowning in air. She describes the sound, the absolute silence that fell over the school when the last girl stopped breathing. But here's what broke her. She ran home. Her family was dead. She ran to her neighbor's house. Everyone dead. She ran through 6 streets, checking house after house, finding only Jews. She found one baby still alive, crying in a crib, while its mother lay dead on the floor beside it. Nesreen picked up that baby. She carried it for 3 miles to the next village, stumbling through mountain paths, her eyes still burning, her lungs still raw. The baby died in her arms 2 hours later. She never learned its name. And this is what chemical weapons do. They don't just kill efficiently. They ensure that survivors are so traumatized, so broken, that the psychological wounds last generations. Nesreen is 53 now. She still wakes up screaming. She never had children. She couldn't bear the thought. Within 24 hours, 5,000 people are dead in Halabja. The death toll will climb to 5,000 in the immediate aftermath. Another 10,000 will die from complications over the next decade. Cancers, respiratory failure, organ damage that becomes fatal years later. The true number may never be known. Iraq's government denies responsibility. They claim Iran used chemical weapons and blamed Iraq. This lie persists in Iraqi state media for 21 years. International response is muted a few condemnations, no serious consequences. The United States, which had been supporting Iraq with intelligence and financial aid during the Iran-Iraq War, doesn't impose sanctions. The reasoning, declassified documents now reveal, was strategic. Saddam Hussein was a bulwark against Iranian expansion. Kurdish lives were acceptable losses. In 1990, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, the world suddenly recognized him as the enemy. The tragedy of Halabja took on new significance. The same photographs once ignored became proof of his brutality. The chemical weapons program, aided by Western companies, now justified military intervention. The Kurds watched this transformation with bitter irony. When they were dying, no one cared. Now, their suffering was convenient propaganda to protect oil interests. History weaponized their pain for political gain. Ahmed Hassan, a 17-year-old who tried to save his family, survived the attack. Found by Iranian soldiers 3 hours later, he spent 2 months in a hospital, losing 60% of his lung capacity. His mother and 3 siblings perished. By 2006, Saddam stood trial in Baghdad for genocide and war crimes. With the ANFAL campaign and Halabja as key evidence, the trial revealed Halabja was not experimental, it was strategic. Military documents showed chemical weapons were used against Kurdish villages at least 40 times. Halabja was simply the largest and most documented atrocity among many smaller ones that went largely unnoticed. One document dated April 1987 outlined the chemical strategy. The use of special munitions will ensure complete evacuation of prohibited areas. Prohibited areas referred to Kurdish villages, while special munitions meant chemical bombs. The clinical detachment in the wording evoked Nazi documentation from the Holocaust. It demonstrated a chilling efficiency in orchestrating mass killings. If not for activists and survivors like Taimur, who captured those haunting photographs, Halabja might have been lost to history, just another forgotten massacre. Today, the Halabja Memorial Monument stands at the attack site, a testament of white stone and Kurdish motifs, inscribed with 5,000 names. Some spaces are left blank because no one lived to identify the victims. Each name represents families erased, survivors gathering at the memorial each year on March 16th to light candles and read poems commemorating the moment the first bomb was dropped 37 years ago. The survivors, now in their 40s, still carry the trauma. Medical studies reveal elevated cancer rates and genetic abnormalities in children born to survivors, illustrating that the gas continues to kill. The international community eventually acted, but only after the political utility of the atrocity diminished. The Chemical Weapons Convention, enacted in 1997, banned chemical weapons, garnering 193 signatories, yet enforcement remains weak. Despite this, Syria used chemical weapons against its people in 2013 and 2017, resulting in limited international response, some missile strikes, some sanctions, but no real consequences. The lesson of Halabja remains unlearned. Chemical weapons thrive because global outrage is fleeting. Nesrine, who survived the attack and became an activist, testified at The Hague and spoke at the United Nations, urging remembrance. In one powerful speech she said, "They killed us with science. They killed us with money. They killed us with politics. But worst of all, they killed us with silence." The world knew. The world watched. The world did nothing. Her words resonate as a condemnation not just of those who perpetrated the atrocities, but of everyone who had the ability to stop it but chose not to. Every Western company that supplied precursor chemicals, every government that provided intelligence, and every journalist who ignored the plight of the Kurds shares in the complicity. The invisible aftermath stretches beyond Halobia. It resides in boardrooms where profit outweighed human life, in diplomatic cables that deemed Kurdish casualties acceptable, in hidden documents that conceal who knew what and when. Imagine yourself in that schoolyard again. Now you understand what the white powder was, why the children's skin turned blue. You know who was responsible for the bombs and the chemicals, who issued orders, and who averted their gaze. The schoolyard in Halobia has been rebuilt. Children play on the same grounds that once absorbed the final breaths of thousands. Life continues, yet memory compels acknowledgement. On March 16th, survivors claimed that you can still hear amidst the wind through the mountains. The heavy silence that fell at 11:47 a.m., not just an absence of sound, but a presence echoing the collective realization of 5,000 people who understood that the world would not save them. The red cloth from Taimur's iconic photograph, The Child's Blanket, remains vivid against the white powder, like blood on snow, signifying the love inherent in every life lost. Each name on the memorial reflects someone's everything, a future stolen by those who never breathed the air they poisoned. History continues to accumulate, and Halobia poses an unsettling question. If it occurred once with the world watching, what assurance do we have that it won't happen again?